Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of the Man once again, and today we are doing another first impressions review. Today we are going to be reviewing or giving our first impressions on two different series. We're going to do Gundam Thunderbolts, which is right there, and Ultraman. Now Gundam Thunderbolts was read a while ago, like in July, but I didn't get around to doing a first impressions video because I don't think I should do them for single volumes. So now that I have two different series that kind of correlate, I'm gonna do it now. So the correlation between these two is actually that there's kind of this power suit system. There's science fiction elements, and of course these are kind of exemplary of the specific subset or subgenre of fiction, science fiction, that they kind of encompass. Gundam obviously is the exemplary like style of mecha sci-fi series, and Ultraman is the exemplary style of tokusatsu science fiction, which is kind of like stuff like Power Rangers and, you know, Kamen Rider and things like this. So there you go. Let's start with Gundam Thunderbolts. Now, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolts is written by Yasuo Otagaki, and the concept is by Hajime Yatate, and the art seems to be drawn by Yoshiyuki Toyino. And this is published under Viz's signature line. And the demographic here is seinen, and the genres here are obviously mecha, science fiction, and space opera. And it's really good. There's an adaptation for it. I don't know if the adaptation is any good, but the one thing I have noticed with Gundam TV shows is they're usually quite slow. They take their time, really just kind of like existing, and they're not like very quick and very fast paced. So I don't know if it's any good. Some people might be bored of that, but it kind of depends. So yeah, the premise here for Gundam Thunderbolts is that in the Universal Timeline, or Universal Century 79, Side 3, which is a specific planet area of space, has rebelled from the Zeon Confederation, Republic, I don't know, from Zeon, the like Eastern European inspired kind of guys, and they're in a fierce battle trying to gain control of the Thunderbolt sector, which is this section of space that for some reason is very important to both of these sides, mostly probably from a like quashing the rebellion standpoint more than it is because there's something specifically important there. And there's these huge Gundam battles that ensue in space. Gundam Thunderbolts is the series that has all of the giant like fuel tank ass rocket things. If you like building Gunpla, and it's pretty interesting. The main thing that I really want to talk about here is the art. It's so cool. It's so interesting. It's so intricate, and it's very cool. It kind of reminds me of the more blocky Western style comic books, in the kind of way the physical characters are drawn. But of course, the mechanical design on the mechas is outstanding, top notch. They like seriously get like actual engineers and mechanics and shit to create them, because they're insanely like well realized, very good, very nicely done. And the vibe of it is kind of interesting. It feels like a Star Wars kind of thing, but not really like the original Star Wars, more like the prequels. You know, there's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of like good guy versus bad guy. There's this give and take, kind of like the Clone Wars. But if the Clone Wars happened in the cockpits of Gundam instead of wherever the Clone Wars took place in the TV show, it's very interesting. I did like it quite a bit, and I do want to get more of it. I just don't buy it that often because it's just $15 for a single volume. That's quite a bit when most other signature volumes only cost about $13. And so it's kind of like, do I spend it on this one volume, or do I kind of like save a little bit and buy a different volume? So it doesn't always work out that well for me in terms of buying it, but I do want to buy more of it, and I think this is a very good series. Definitely want to collect it. I like that there's a lot of color pages. There's color pages at the beginning and then color pages midway through the volume, and that's very nice. I like it a lot. You know, chef's kiss to that. Now, let's talk about Ultraman. I gotta flip pages to the other section where I have written some notes about this. So, There you go, Ultraman Volume 1. Now this is written by Eiichi Shimizu and illustrated by Tomohiro Shimoguchi, who are very funny guys. The author's note really kind of exemplifies the fact that they're super fans of Ultraman, and they're really excited to work on this, which is really good. I think it's very nice. They speak about how it's a passion project that has been 30 years in the making, a lot of decades in the making, and I think that's top-notch, very good. Now, this is published by Viz, obviously under the signature line. That's why it's so big. So you guys can see right there, that's a SIG symbol. And the demographic here is also seinen. This was actually the launch title for a specific magazine that went defunct, and this switched over to a different one, which is kind of interesting. I guess the magazine didn't have enough things in it to kind of justify it being its own thing, but you know, that just happens sometimes. So the genres here are science fiction, superhero, and tokusatsu. Like I said, this is kind of like the exemplary tokusatsu kind of thing. I don't necessarily know that Ultraman was the first tokusatsu series, but it was definitely like the one that kind of solidified these kind of styles, as far as I know, which is interesting. And the adaptation for this is quite good. I actually watched the first episode, which is about the same as the first chapter here. And it's on Netflix, and it has like the same style, the same story, just turned into an animation, which is pretty interesting, because I do think that unlike other things, this does actually lend itself well to animation, because it's very like, I don't know, it just looks kind of like it would be an animation, like keyframes of an animation, if that makes sense. And yeah, the premise here is basically that it's post the original series, and we see that Shin Hayata, the original Ultraman, has a son named Shinjiro, who kind of now has to come to terms with his inherited powers that he kind of tries to hide from his dad because he doesn't know his father's secret, right? And now, for some reason, aliens have come to invade Earth once again, many years after the original Ultraman series. So it's very interesting. We kind of get to see the mantle passed to a new generation. And yeah, the things to remark here are the art. Very cool, very nice. I just like how it looks. The mechanical design of the suit is also really good. We get to see this really nice image here in the back of how it looks. It's just really intricate and really detailed, and I like it quite a bit. And beyond that, I don't know, I think that it's kind of interesting to highlight the fact that it doesn't really feel like a Power Ranger story. If anything, it feels more like a Spider-Man story for some reason. It follows this teenager that comes into power that he doesn't really know how to deal with, that provides him with, you know, greater strength, greater agility, greater speed than the average human. And now he has to step up and save the world, even though he barely can deal with high school. And so it's very kind of like Spider-Man-esque, which is kind of interesting because I've been reading comic books that feel more like Ultraman than this Ultraman series seems to feel like the original, which is interesting. I mean, I haven't watched the original, but my understanding of the original is a little bit more serious than what this is coming off as. Or maybe it's not like as oriented to teenagers. I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of interesting that it's kind of different than I was expecting, and it feels a lot more like a Spider-Man story, but with like a different type of power than it does, you know, what I was expecting out of it, which is kind of interesting. I'm pretty happy with it. This is not a complaint. This is just an observation, and I'm really happy with both of these books. I do want to continue to buy more of them. I don't know where I can buy Ultraman. I don't think any of the stores around me have any volumes. I might have to go check and see once again, but otherwise I'll probably just buy it online. It's no biggie. But yeah, that's it for me, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, see you guys later. Yeah, bye.